everyone. Welcome to my weekly Meltdowns BS Meltdown, and also our first ever coverage of Dragula Season 2 episodes 1 and 2, which should be one and done, but we're going to continue this through.
Oh, you don't like it?
Oh, no! I have some thoughts, but we'll get into it all. So how this show is going to work is we're going to talk just shoot the shit for half an hour, our normal weekly BS breakdown. And then we're going to hop right into Dragula Season 2, episodes 1 and 2. From here on out, it will be patron exclusive, us recapping Dragula. But this is a little preview for anybody that's on the fence about being a patron. Now's your chance to see what all we get into on our patron exclusive shows. And Beth, you are just serving all kind of looks right now.
Listen, this episode, this BS breakdown is coverage of my hair. That's what it is.
It looks great. Everyone's
it looks
hair
really
looks
good.
Great. Mm-hmm.
I don't know about.
Am I one of those people who should shave the one side of their head?
No,
and just have hair.
That's
the Rihanna look.
No, stop it. That needs to stop immediately because
what about this side though?
No, there's a lady on 90 Day Fiance, The Single Life, who does that.
This kind of looks like I buzzed it now because I pulled it.
Are you okay?
I thought I almost shit myself.
My hair's that cool looking.
I'm having a intestinal
like an animal for your eyes.
Well, so speaking of that, Allison, I want to start off this BS breakdown with a story that I saw on Reddit that happened maybe a year or two ago, and I've been dying to bring it up on one of these shows, and I figured this would be a great topic to start off our BS breakdown. Have you heard of the poop knife?
No, unfortunately, No, I've never heard of a poop knife.
Okay, so this
education that's about to happen.
So this was on the subreddit, No Stupid Questions. So this is a place where people ask all kinds of questions with supposed to be no judgment, but it's opened up a huge conversation for, what is this poop knife? Some of us have never heard of it. So I'm just going to read to you guys the post. And I want to hear Allison and you, Beth's thoughts on this. And I'm so glad you guys haven't heard of this story yet. Okay, so here's what they have to say. All right, they say, my family poops big. Maybe it's genetic, maybe it's our diet, but everyone births giant logs of crap. If anyone has laid a mega poop, you know that sometimes it won't flush. It lays across the hole in the bottom of the bowl, and the vortex of draining water merely gives it a spin as it mocks you. Growing up, this was a common enough occurrence that our family had to have a poop knife. It was an old rusty kitchen knife that hung on a nail in the laundry room, only to be used for that purpose. It was normal to walk through the hallway and have someone call out, "Hey, can you get me that poop knife?" I thought it was standard kit. You have your plunger, your toilet brush, and you have your poop knife. Fast forward to 22. It's been a day or two between poops, and I'm over at my friend's house. My friend was the local dealer and always had guests over, but you can't buy weed without sitting on your ass and sampling it for an hour. I excuse myself and lay a gigantic turd. I look down and see that it's a sideways one, so I crack the door open and call out for my friend. He arrives and I ask him for his poop knife. My what? Your poop knife, I say. I need to use it, please. What the fuck is a poop knife? Obviously, he has one, but maybe he calls it by a more delicate name. A fecal cleaver, a dung divider, a guano glaive. I explained what it is and why I want it. He starts giggling and laughing. Then lots of people start laughing. Turns out the music stopped and everyone heard my pleas through the door. And turns out none of them have had a poop knife. And it was just my fucked up family with their fucked up bowels. I told my wife this last night, who was amused and horrified at the same time. Turns out that she did not know what a poop knife was and had been using the old rust. What?
She still married him?
I guess so, yeah. She had been using the old rusty poop knife hanging in the utility closet as a basic utility knife. Thankfully, she didn't cook with it, but used it to open Amazon boxes. So, Allison, I want your initial thoughts on this story.
A million things go through my mind. Like, what angle are you sitting on the toilet that you're pooping I've never had this issue. It goes in the way how are you sitting on the toilet? What goes into do you clean the knife before you hang it back up? Why is it not hanging up in the bathroom? Why is it away from the bathroom? It shouldn't be anywhere near an Amazon box, a kitchen, anywhere. It should be hanging on one of those little stick it to the wall things in the shower or something. It shouldn't be outside the bathroom, you little shit knife. Your crap cutlery needs to be in the bathroom. I've never in my life. I mean, I don't know. I mean, how would you, like, when it's coming out of your butthole, it usually just comes out straight, and it'll do its little thing when it's a lot at once. You know what I'm saying? And it still goes in the toilet.
Beth, what do you think?
What are you eating?
Okay. At the risk of TMI, I have had it when
You're at the risk of what? We don't know that here. I mean, what are we talking about right now?
It's like my family has a whole collection of poop knives.
Do they
Number
really?
one. What the fuck?
No, generally, literally.
Like,
What the
that
fuck are
is
we
what
talking
a
about?
Plunger is for. Is if your poop can't go the right way, you take a damn plunger, which is meant to go in your toilet, and then you finagle the poopery until it goes into the hole the way it needs to. A knife?
A knife, yeah, to like chop it up so it like goes down the toilet without
Okay, clearly this person lives in like a home that was built during the Revolutionary War.
Excuse me.
And
Yes.
has horrible
Yes,
pipes.
I am too.
JL, I've been here the entire time and I'm horrified.
What do you do if you live in it? If you're still obviously maybe these like the olden time. What do you do if you have an outhouse? What do you do when it happens in the outhouse?
I mean, if it's an outhouse, maybe
it goes in the dirt. It doesn't have to sink through anything.
If
you don't need to chop it up for any reason.
If you can't poop like a human, you need to be out in the fields with the other buffalo.
Also, if you know I'm putting this out there. If you know
in a pasture.
If you know that you can poop with such like vigor, you need to clench that buttocks and break it up as it's coming out, you little pooping monster.
But what if it's one of those huge turds that you have to stop multiple times while pushing because you think your asshole's ripping apart?
Well, first of all, that's my point. You better be breaking that shit up with your little sphincter. You can do it. I believe in you. You got muscle power back there. If you're pushing that hard, you can clench that hard and break it up your damn self. You don't need a rusted knife that is shared and presumably not even clean.
That is so unsanitary and disgusting. And I'm not even upset about the knife.
I also want to point out we have 10 viewers and now we're down to 6. Okay, we're 6 now.
I'm not even upset about the losing viewers anymore. I'm not even upset about the knife. Happy birthday, Adrian Celeste, by the way. I am upset about why the knife is not in the bathroom. Like, why is it not in the bathroom? You come out with the thing dripping, and where are you hanging it? Where is it going? Where?
I'm calling the police. Hold on.
Well, I have a sequel story if you guys want to hear it.
Please. Yes.
So, you guys haven't heard of the poop knife, but have you guys heard of the family cloth?
No, if this is going where I think it's going, I'm done.
What do you guys think is the family cloth before I tell you?
It's the cloth that everyone shares to wipe their ass.
Beth, what do you think?
It better, if it's a family diaper that's reusable.
Is it
So, you know, to help save the environment, right? Some families have decided to, instead of using toilet paper where you flush down the toilet, you have a bin of like washcloths that stacks on top of the toilet, and once you wipe your butt, you just put it in like a dirty hamper, and then you just wash the cloths over and over again.
Guys, I'm gonna give you an even better one. Call the fucking bidet.
You can get them on Amazon. Amazon.
My parents just installed a bidet. I'm literally here. I just used it for my first time. That is like someone using a squirt gun on your ass.
I've never used a bidet. Is that what it feels like?
Kind of. Well, so okay, let me walk you through the process. My mom then says, Beth, we got a bidet. I said, wonderful. You little cultured woman. Let's go into this.
So my parents are into it too, Beth. Yeah.
Brings me into the bathroom. She shows me the settings in the bidet. She said, this one is for your butt. This one is for those with vaginas. It will clean the front, which, by the way, no, it fucking doesn't. It goes the same place. You have to kind of, if you're sitting on the toilet,
you just like
you have
position
to
yourself.
lean back and be like, Anyway, so there's that moment. I don't even know what the third setting does. It looks like a rocket. It scares the shit out of me just looking at it. So then below it is the dial. Two sides are like half power, and then the other one is full power. What you were supposed to do is reset it to 0. So when somebody presses the button that they want, they don't get a full blast of water on the asshole. And guess what happened to me the first time I used it? Somebody didn't reset it, and it was like someone took a super soaker and went right on the booty hole.
Is it like enough water pressure to like cause like physical damage to you? Like, could it like hurt you?
It doesn't hurt or anything. It's gentle, but it's still like there's enough power that you're like, okay, wow, this is a moment. Honestly, don't hate it, but also would have liked to warm up to the point where I was like comfortable with the full strength coming at me. Didn't get that. It's not cold. It's not particularly warm either. So it's refreshing the way I would say. And
do you still have to wipe yourself after to like wipe the excess like water off?
Yeah. So what you're doing is using much less toilet paper. It's like you're using one square and going, okay, water off versus like multiple if you had a particularly messy poo.
This sounds like a better use for the family cloth.
Yes.
In my opinion. To wipe yourself off after the bidet.
My husband got a little bidet for Christmas from my parents, and it's upstairs in his bathroom. I don't use it. I tried it once. That's all I'm good. I'm okay with my Cottonelle wet wipes.
Is it the same height as a toilet, or is it like lower to the ground?
Oh, you hook it up so it's in your toilet. It's inside of the toilet, and it just kind of goes pew, 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 from like.
I can hear Chris's when it goes off. It goes. And I'll go, well, you just took a shit. Because you're just letting everyone know what your shenanigans you're up to in the bathroom. My parents, they have one in the guest bathroom, and then they have one in their bathroom, and you can go in the back. Where's your restroom? And go to the restroom. You're sitting there. We're all sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden we hear out of the corner. Well, everybody knows Jacob just took a shit.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. In about 5 minutes after Jacob leaves that room, they're probably going to know anyway.
This is true because my child there's something going on in there that I hope is not passed down to little
maybe he needs a poop knife.
Listen, I'm so sick and nauseous right now from this conversation. It's very hard to gross me out.
What if we got a nice little like engraved knife that we sent to Baby Peanut? And we said, this is your poop knife. It's a My Weekly Meltdown poop knife.
Definitely. I think that sounds like a good housewarming gift for them.
Oh my God.
Not going to happen. I'm still trying to figure out, you get a turd horizontal and not vertical.
Listen. I've had
and
the
it's one
moment.
log.
Okay.
It's like one big log that like just like won't flush down the toilet because it's so big. So you need to chop it up into pieces.
Hi, I have Crohn's. Yeah, it happens. But I must be having some kind of super sewage system because it rights itself on the way down and it's good to go.
I will flush a toilet
Or the
500
worst part is
times
if
before
it
I'm
doesn't.
chopping up a turd.
Here's what I've had to do. Oh, it didn't go down? Hi, plunger. Let me just fuck around with it. We're good to go. And your plunger has done half of its job. And you didn't have to involve any kind of rusted cutlery that anybody else was using and that anybody else could potentially open Amazon packages with.
I hate plungers.
Well, speaking of Amazon, I actually found a 6 knife set that I think would be perfect for the occasion. So maybe we can get this for
You
Jacob.
have to cut your turd with a Cuisinart blade. You don't
Look,
need
you can get it in one day.
Out in the field with the rest of the wildlife. Take that knife and bury a hole. I mean, dig a hole and put your gigantic log turd in it.
I do have, my friend does have this knife set and it actually works so well.
Oh, see, there you go.
Not on the poops. I haven't tried
I was going to
it
say,
there.
they should leave it for like a review. Like, this makes an excellent poop knife.
We're going to start. Let me tell you what's about to happen. We're going to start getting email, direct DMs in the My Weekly Meltdown Instagram about already smoothing my balls stuff. Now we're going to get a Cuisinart shit knife or something.
I think we need to share with the world the My Weekly Meltdown Instagram page, as well as my personal Instagram page, have both been solicited with a message that said, viewed your profile, thought you would be great as a partner for this, and it smooth my balls or whatever. And I'm like, I'm very flattered that you think I may have balls. If I do, they never descended. And I can tell you with good conscience that I unfortunately know for a fact I have ovaries because they drive me fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, we may act like we have balls, but we don't really have the balls. Now, Captain Obvious has offered to use the Smooth My Balls and then come on the show and tell us all about it because, you know,
give us like a review.
Captain Obvious loves to do is talk about his genitalia constantly.
Oh, well, you know what? Listen, I can. We clearly have a channel that is designed for that kind of conversation. As we just spent 18 minutes talking about poop knives, bidets, and poop cloths. So listen, you know what? Not that far off.
I have had, and I don't know if I'm the only person who has experienced this. One, I just got the second round of the COVID vaccine last week. Thought I was on my deathbed last Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this, and this is just whatever. I've had some diarrhea I cannot explain since getting this second shot. I tried to go eat Chinese food with Captain Obvious before
That's why.
No,
I was gonna say that'll do it.
I didn't even eat it yet. It didn't even make it to the table. I'm trying to eat my little edamame, okay, and fight with that shit that I love so much. I wish it came already out of the thing. But anyway, I run to the bathroom. I'm in there for 20 minutes, and obviously everyone knows what I've been doing because I've been gone.
It's because you use the bidet.
There's no bidet in there. But Allison does carry Cottonelle in a Ziploc bag. But anyway, I come out, I start to eat my food, and I have to go again. And I'm in there for, finally, Chris is like, do you want me to get a to-go box? I go, get the to-go box, pay don't even explain anything. Just wait in the truck. And I come out and he's already gone. He's out in the truck. He's outside. And I'm like, it's hitting me again on the way there. And he took a picture. I wish I had it. I don't have it.
Of what?
Of me in the truck, praying to Jesus, trying not to shit myself. I, for some reason, have my hands over my ears like this.
Well, that's notoriously, if you put your
And
hands
I'm
over your ears,
staring
you stop
straight
shitting.
ahead to, like, I'm not breathing, I'm not moving, and
We need to find this picture.
I'm gonna send. I've got it. And the song "Another One Bites the Dust" by Queen comes on, and of course Chris can make a song. He had anything, and he's sitting there
course.
going, "Duh, duh, duh." Try not to shit myself. Duh, duh. There's another one gone, another one gone. Trying not to shit myself. Hey,
I
just
love
crawl
that.
it out, trying to crawl it out my ass, trying not to shit myself. Oh, speed bump, bump. Dun, 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 dun.
That's so funny.
He just will not shut up. Well, I'm trying not. I made it home.
Now I understand why you had your hands over your ears.
My neighbors are so fun. Like when they see Chris flying up the driveway and we're not even completely stopped and I'm flying out of that thing, running up into the garage, like my neighbors know. Allison, not Chinese again.
She hadn't even had it yet. I could tell. She
That
doesn't
damn
look
Chinese.
educated.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But anyway, yeah, God. I'm gonna try to email.
Allison, Beth and I are going to be hanging out in New York City tomorrow. When are you coming to visit us?
Well, you know what I'm doing tomorrow? Nothing.
What? So you should
I don't
come
know.
visit.
We got to plan it. Y'all are gonna die when you see this. I'm gonna find this picture.
I also would like to say for the record that both Tyler and I are fully vaxxed.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Tyler, can I send it to you and you pull it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So I am going to New York City tomorrow to see my new apartment. I'm going to see it for the first time.
I want to be FaceTimed. I want to be
with
included.
Tyler. Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, we can definitely
with
do
Tyler.
that.
Tyler and I are going to go get a tour of the building of my apartment, and then I'm going to put Tyler to work and helping me, I'm putting together a vision of the furniture I may like. And then I'm going to take him down to Rainmore and Flanagan. And we're going to find a few things like bigger furniture items. I'm talking bed, couch, and probably like a TV console or something like that. Maybe even cheeky little like 3 set like dining room table 2 chair kind of situation, like a little breakfast nook kind of thing. Okay. Maybe something like that. But I am essentially just buying all new furniture. There's very few things that I'm actually moving. So I have painter's tape and I have a measuring tape, and we are going to like literally block out the room.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I love furniture shopping.
I'm going to FaceTime you during furniture shopping tomorrow. How about that?
Ooh, that'll be great.
Yeah.
I want to also show you the apartment though.
I want to see the apartment. Oh, I think it'd be fun. Did you get the picture, Tyler?
Yes. Let me share it.
This is what it looks like when Allison is trying not to poop her pants. Chris takes pictures of me all the time in the car. He'll film. Yeah, that's me.
He is like laser visioned on like, I have to get home right now.
Chris is like, I've never seen you concentrate this hard in your entire life. And I'm like, you have no idea what's going through my mind at this very moment. And look, my nostrils are flared. I'm ready.
You can see even out of the periphery, there is death in your eyes. Like,
yes.
Like not that you are dead, but that you are seeing like, this is the end.
This is the end.
Chris is like, you better not shit on my leather seats. You're gonna hose it out, and that's it. But anyway, I'm so glad that we spent this first part of the show talking about shit knives and all kinds of stuff. You know,
Listen, I feel like I never bring the comedy. I always bring like the nerdy strategy talk. So I just wanted to try my hand at enticing Allison and Beth to talk about something funny.
You're fired.
I almost died.
You're fired. Never again. You are not allowed. You're not allowed.
Because I dropped my mic?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to drop my mic.
No,
Nope,
I'm talking
again.
about Tyler.
Oh, me? Oh, I see. Well, you know, I wanted to try something funny. I don't know.
I'm
I'll stay in my lane.
flabbergasted on how. I don't get
I just want it
Something
known
that should be like this is like this in your toilet. I
we
just,
just
I
totally had this whole conversation when I'm sitting here at my mom's desk next to this that says Deacon's log. So there
There
what
you
is
go.
that? What is that?
Does
So,
Deacon's
okay,
dog need a
so-
poop drive?
what Matthew Henning, which by the way, hello.
Hello to
Henning,
everyone
how
in
you
the
doing?
chat. And
Yes,
happy
hello.
birthday, Adrian.
Sorry we jumped into shitting and
world of
not
shit.
saying hello.
Shit talking.
Shit talking, literally. So Matthew is referencing, I put together a charity event with my stream team on Twitch where each of us, there's 12 of us all together, 12 streamers, and each of us became quote unquote Pokemon gym leaders or members of the Elite Four. And we had our own types. We had a professional artist put together us as a Pokemon gym leader. And if people beat us, then we're going to mail them our league cards.
That's
and
so cool.
In order to compete against us, they had to make a donation of like $5 or more to Black Girls Code. And we have raised almost $1,400 for this. And I'm really excited about it. But Matthew has been challenging quite a few of the gym leaders. And one of his Pokemon is named Beth. And Beth has beaten quite a few gym leaders, which is great because I was the flying gym leader. I kicked off the event on Friday, and I lost quite a bit. And so there was a lot of people who were like, ooh, we got to get a new flying gym leader. But I would like to point out that, first of all, this is for charity. So I don't have to be that good. And secondly, the whole point of when you go to a gym is that you know what type you're facing and you get the upper hand because you get to just destroy them with the type that like beats that one.
Yeah.
So just putting it out there. It's all good. And Henning is now saying there's also Allison who's his Arcanine, and Arcanine is a very powerful dog fire Pokemon. And I think
dog.
What
Oh, and Tyler says Orbeetle. Orbeetle's like a lot more powerful than I ever thought it was. Orbeetle.
No idea what we're talking about.
Beth, what is okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. One of my high school friends is like deathly afraid of ladybugs, so I should send him this Pokemon. Beth, what his name is also Tyler. Beth, what Pokemon are you in Matt's team?
I'm a Corviknight.
Corviknight.
Steel bird, like a crow.
Oh yes.
It's in the newest. It's a huge crow-looking bird Pokemon that's steel. It's really cool.
I gotta say, before we move on to Dragula, I'm really enjoying Pokemon Snap. I am it's like the perfect game. It is literally like Tyler Lyons in a game. Like as a photographer and somebody who loves Pokemon and Nintendo, like it's so fun. I love it. I would love to like share like not yet. I'm really just like going through the courses like so many times because I'm just enjoying it so much, and I feel like I get like really good photos every time. So yeah. Okay. So that's my plug for Pokemon Snap. But
I think it's just funny. I want to point this out. Matt says Beth was my first Pokemon I caught outside of my starter. I also want to point out that I forgot what it's like, Chickadee or something like that is like the little the first form before it evolves twice into Corviknight was also my caught Pokemon, and I named it Gus T Wind. As if it was going to be like a little Augusta wind, like
Gusty
wind.
That sounds like a drag name.
Rookity. Thank you so much. Yes, it's Rookity. The Rookity was Gus T Wind, and because my name is Augusta, and so it was Augusta Wind, and then there we are.
There you go.
But yes, maybe if you were listening / watching and you have any interest in participating, even though you cannot battle me anymore. We still have the event going on tonight. Falafel Cosplays is the grass gym leader, and she is competing tonight, as well as Everdeen Jones, who is the poison gym leader. Tomorrow, Jeff Jeremy, who was formerly known as Fifi O'Hara on Drag Race, is the dark gym leader. And we also kick off the Elite Four with Mia Easylay. She's a drag queen who is the kind of like the bug Elite Four member. Wednesday is Nereza Konvika, and he is doing all evolutions as his
that's a cool gym
Elite
thing.
Four moment, and Summoner Red is going after his namesake and is acting just like Red from the original like rival games and such. So you get to see a lot of like those Pokemon. And then the last person is Stellar Makes, and they are doing mostly psychic and fire Pokemon, but it's still a variety. So it should be a lot
Allison,
of fun.
what do you think about those gym leaders?
It's fascinating. Fascinating. I have no idea what y'all are talking about. Like my son is into all of this stuff. And I'm like, I don't know.
Confused.
I was trying not to be.
She was like, okay. All right. Are we ready to get spooked?
Oh I am so excited to talk about Dragula. So for those that are not patrons, as Tyler said at the top of the show, we are going to be discussing season 2 of Dragula as our patron-only show. After tonight's show, moving forward, we're going to do 2 episodes a week. So next week will be episodes 3 and 4, and those will only be for our patrons. So if you would like to watch our coverage, feel free to become a patron at patreon.com/myweeklymeltdown. Dragula.
I added a little red tint to my lights to be a little spooky.
It is very spooky.
So yeah. Those may have nope, that's not a sentence. What we did for our first patron only show is we watched season 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race, which was a good introduction to drag for both Tyler and Allison. It's kind of a mainstream look at what drag is, what most people, if they aren't involved in drag scenes or don't know local queens, kind of have an idea of drag because they watch RuPaul's Drag Race. What we're watching now is a series that was originally made for YouTube. Season 2 was released on YouTube and then later was put on Amazon Prime and is now on Netflix. And it has increased its budget for its production and its production value every single season. So season 3's production value is even better than season 2, but season 2 has super talented, not that the season 3 doesn't and season 1 doesn't, but has like unreal talented queens. Like they put together looks and concepts that would not be appropriate for a RuPaul's Drag Race situation, whether because they're too gory or too sexualized or whatever the case is. But what it's supposed to do is really invoke. They have three different areas that they're really focused on, which is horror, glamour, and filth. Those are the 3 things that they really want the next drag super monster to inhabit. So with this comes these ideas of drag that are a little bit more underground. They're things that you might find in local clubs, especially if they have nights that are maybe a little bit more kink or horror oriented. And so this is an area of very valid drag that just hasn't had its moment. So Dragula is really the first time that a lot of people, myself included, got introduced to this form of art. So we see a little bit more special effects makeup, but we also see a lot of camp. This isn't like super, super serious at the end of the day. There's a lot of campy moments in this, which is also very, driven from queer culture. So with all of that said as a preface, I need to pass it over to you two. I need your initial thoughts. Clearly, I'm guessing that there was some, I don't like it as much thoughts that, from Allison. So I'm turning it over to you two. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Allison, I want to hear you first.
No, I like it. I mean, it's not that. I had a very hard time watching episode 2. I don't know why, just because of the boils on everybody's face and shit. It just like it was gross. But I'm a huge horror fan. I love the scarier, the better. The episode 1 when they kind of did the Clive Barker Hellraiser kind of theme with the Cenobites. I totally, you had to create how you lived and how you died kind of combined. I don't know if either one of you have ever seen the original.
I have not.
I have not, but I have some references that I picked up on. But go ahead, Allison.
Yeah, it's just, Hellraiser is such an 80s. It was made in the late 80s. It just really
Oop, sorry, that's Sora.
no,
Go ahead.
I mean, Clive Barker is so good, and Hellraiser is such a legendary film, and it's such a classic. I highly suggest you go and watch it. There were some of the queens that I thought nailed it, and there were some that I just obviously they'd never seen Hellraiser and they don't know anything about it. And then there were some that I thought really nailed it, and the judges were like, no, that doesn't have any. And I'm like, what are you thinking? Yes, this is exactly what it represents, you know. And I kind of was like, I don't know what you're thinking, but I thought the first episode I really, really liked.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was in for at first. What got me in the first episode, what the fuck is he doing?
It's his dog's getting over.
Sorry, I was handing Sora over. I'm back. Sorry.
What really got me, because Chris, my husband, has a tendency to walk in on these shows. RuPaul's Drag Race, they were talking about tucking or something was going on. He's like, what are you watching? And then he came in during this part where the bottom three were getting stabbed.
Needles,
They had the big thick thing, and I'm just like, what have I got myself into? And he was like, I don't want to know what you guys are up to anymore. He's like, I don't want to know why, or what is this? And I'm like, just
How did
leave
you
it.
feel about Butt Boy?
How did I feel about Bud
No,
Boy?
How did he feel about it?
He still hasn't watched it.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe he would have walked in right when the cheeks were spread and
No, but see, I called that though. That was the best part of that whole thing. Was I said, I'm telling you right now, guy's going to open his butthole, and it's going to be a tornado, and it happened. This, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Fair enough.
You know, I didn't watch. I watched little things here and there, but I wanted to go into it blind and not know what's going on. I had no idea that's what was going to happen to the bottom three.
Yeah.
I didn't know who at the end. I was a little confused of who lost. And I guess we weren't supposed to find out until I even rewound it. I was like, okay, what did I miss? Like, why am I not
I
knowing?
really liked that though, like not knowing who was being eliminated until like the murder scene happened, which was really cool. And that's what I wanted to point out was like, so both of these eliminations, the first episode and the second episode, pay homage to my favorite horror movie, which is Halloween. So the first one, they're like going through like the white sheets hung outside, flowing in the wind. Michael Myers is like hiding in them in the original movie. And then in the second movie, the stabbing was through the mask, just like Michael Myers killing his mother, which was like the start of the Halloween franchise, right? So I love these like really niche references to like these like classic horror movies.
Michael Myers didn't kill his mother.
Yeah, I think. Are you thinking of?
Are you sure? I'm
Thinking
pretty
about
sure he did.
Jason?
Jason? Jason
No,
didn't kill
I'm
his mom,
pretty
though.
sure. I'm pretty sure Michael Myers, like his whole thing is
Michael
like
Myers
killing.
kills his sister.
He killed his sister.
Okay, his whole thing is like killing everybody in his family.
I mean, I get it. Sorry.
Did he kill his mom and dad?
Let me see. I'm Googling this.
He's got to Google it, Beth. He's got to Google it.
Yeah. Well, regardless, I totally agree with what you're saying here, which is that
his mother committed suicide. Sorry.
Yeah. So there's homages to famous horror, scary movies, you know, gory movies, that kind of thing. So but they put their own twist on it. So let's talk a little bit. I know that Tyler wanted to talk about this too. Like, let's talk about the format of the show. So this is a very different format than what we're used to with Drag Race. Drag Race, you actually see Tyler was wrong. In Drag Race, we see the queens out of drag more often than we see them in drag. That is not the case here. The only time we're seeing them out of drag is when they're getting ready, and normally they're like half up. Even in their confessionals, they're fully in drag, which is not the case in Drag Race. Drag Race is the role of Drag Race was to bring awareness that queer people, and specifically those that do drag, are people with real human issues and problems, and we're bringing this to light. We put it on logo. We're showing people like what it's like to be a queer individual in 2009, 2016, whatever the case is, right? Dragula is already underground enough that it's like the audiences who have been watching this already know that this isn't supposed to be necessarily super mainstream. The fact it's on streaming, yes, makes it somewhat mainstream, but it's really supposed to be showing queer people doing art that is beyond what normally people would think of people doing, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that that's the number one thing to think about. Ow, I just hit my knee so hard on this desk. Oh my God. It's like hitting my funny bone, but it's my knee. Oh my God.
Yeah, I had a question. Who does their makeup? Like, are they doing their own?
They do their own makeup.
That is crazy. Like the special effects that they did, and Adrian brought it up too. James had a good look. Victoria with that face shield, and the makeup is everything. Like that was like my takeaways. Like I feel like they're like, of course you have to be like a good like drag performer, but on top of that, like a makeup artist. Like
Right.
not even just like a standard drag look, but just like all of like the blood boils and like the gushing and I have to say if anybody follows me on Twitter, you see that I tweet about how much I hate colored contacts all the time.
Yep.
I hate colored contacts, and they are like everywhere on the show.
Although they're like, I can just see Tyler.
I have so many notes about these colored contacts.
So the other, and the other big thing I want to bring up too is the difference between someone like RuPaul and the Boulet brothers. Okay, so RuPaul started off in a punk band in the 70s, gets noticed. He wore women's clothes as a part of the
RuPaul?
punk band. RuPaul, yep,
Okay, yeah.
And then becomes like. This drag queen model, supermodel of the world. By the time the 90s comes, is on, the Matt campaign, like is known for being camp and feminine and unapologetically Black and femme and camp and queer and beautiful and all these other things, right? Has a talk show, is in the limelight, is the epitome of mainstream drag. The Boulet brothers are the epitome of club underground drag. They met at a bar. I think they say maybe it was in Germany. I don't know where it was, but it was basically like a queer bar where it was like a kink restaurant as well, where like, as I think they said, you can get a little spank with your steak. So
I would just love to go there with the two of you and see like how Allison like interacts.
Why is it me? Listen, all I've got to say is that little white kitten better still be alive in episode 3.
Of course. Well, and here's the other thing too. You're also talking about people who are incredibly liberal. They do not believe in anything that's related to like animal cruelty.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, I know. I'm just joking, but you know me.
I know. But I always like to like point that out. So
I thought of Finley in the Hunger Games, not gonna lie.
Oh my God. Finley was just such a beast.
Sorry, Beth, go ahead.
So but you have these two that met. They're not brothers, they're actually partners. I
thought they were really brothers.
They're partners. Their names are Swanthula, which is the shorter one, and then Dracula is the older, or not the older, the taller one. But they've been doing this together. They paint themselves, and they have learned how to paint exactly the same way. So their whole aesthetic is that their entire costumes are either mirror of each other or the exact same down to every single detail. The way they paint, their nails, everything is exactly the same or complementary in some way. And they are known for their dramatic hand movements like this. Like, I mean, those are the things that they're kind of the best known for. But they're also, at its core, super campy individuals, which is why you start off with these classic queer references, not just horror references with the "don't fuck with us, fellas," pulling out Mommy Dearest at that moment. and these kind of things. So they start off every episode with the Boulay brothers being the center of attention and doing a campy thing where it's either they're reanimating someone who used to be a pet crew member from Drag Race and making them a part of their show, or they're talking to the studio heads or whatever the case is. They always start off, it's the Boulay brothers. Then it goes into the theme. Then it's always some kind of recollection about what happened at the last episode. It's getting prepared for the next episode, getting the concept, getting the challenges. Then it's the floor show, which is the challenge for that for that day. The floor show is always going to be, there might be some performance aspects, like we'll get to those, but for the most part, there's not a runway like on Drag Race. It's about a performance of using their aesthetics, their costumes, whatever, in selling that as a super monster or whatever it is, as a moment. And then it moves to the judgment. And then whoever is in the bottom, instead of having to lip sync for their life, has to face an extermination challenge of some sort. As we saw in the first episode, these are intense.
I have so many thoughts about that. I'm sorry, Beth. Sorry to cut you off.
No, but that's basically it. So I just wanted to set that up as a first episode kind of thing.
So when I looked, when I saw that elimination and they're like putting needles like literally through their skin, and you see like the actual blood like coming out of their body, and then in the second episode they're getting hit with paintballs at like point blank range. Like I really question like how this show happened in 2018. Like, so I know Allison also watched the E docuseries about like the history of reality TV with Andy Cohen, and how just like I feel like reality TV has gone through such a headspin of like morality questions of production, in terms of like what do they put these contestants through that like can like physically and psychologically damage them for the rest of their lives. And I just it's intriguing because it's like themed into this whole like horror drag stuff, but I just really struggle to understand how this show was, or like those eliminations were made in 2018 and put onto Netflix. Like
remember, it wasn't originally put onto Netflix.
Yes, yeah, but
it was made for YouTube, and then what happened was, I think that what you make is a really interesting point, right? And they say right in the very beginning, if you're paying attention when they're talking to and introducing the contestants, they say this competition is dangerous. This is not a safe competition. Now, obviously, it is safe. They're not going to do anything that's going to like actually like ruin them for the rest of their lives, but they're going to push them psychologically. And you see Erica Clash in particular when she's getting those needles through her saying, this is all in my head. And she actually appreciates at the end of it, like, this was a big fear of mine. I've always had a fear of needles. I've faced it in the most intense way. And now I feel like stronger as a human being. And that's the whole point of these extermination challenges, is to like push people to their edge, but like make them stronger at the end of the day.
I want to be stronger, but you're not sticking this into my body.
And that's what I mean is like
needles and stuff in the gadget, but I was like, man, this is a lot. When they pulled out that big long thing, I was like, this is a lot.
I would love to read their contract that they have to sign to go onto this show. You know what I mean? I just like, I hear horror stories about even like something as silly as like The Bachelor, how like producers will like say like, oh, well, yeah, like they're considering like sending you home. So like, you really have to like step it up for this episode. I can only imagine like the producers telling these people that going into this like needle sticking competition, and like how much like, like, just like look. So let's say you're a contestant, like getting like needles in your arms or whatever. I can't imagine like 5 years from now looking back at that and being like, I cannot believe I subjected myself to that for a TV show elimination. You know,
so here's my counterpoint, just for fun, right?
Yeah.
I can't believe we allow people to go onto not deserted, but like an island where we basically give them no food for 39 days, and they have to catch whatever they're doing, and they don't even have basic first aid unless things are really serious. And that's completely fine. We've
That's
had eating
true.
competitions. Here you go, eat like blood, drink blood, like all that kind of stuff. How is that different than somebody going into Claire's and asking for a thick gauge to go anywhere they want, or a tattoo parlor and asking for a tattoo that takes forever long with a needle inside them? A lot of this at the end of the day, again, it's not anything that's actually going to harm them, but it's punk enough that it's not something you normally see.
That's a good counterpoint. I like that.
When I saw that big old thing come out, I'm just sitting
That's
there.
those big needles, bitch. No,
That was a big fuck, and I'm sitting there going, "Where's that gonna go? What are they gonna do with that?" I was like, "They're about to stick that." Oh, they're doing it. They're fucking sticking each other with it, and I get it, man. I get it, but Leatherface is sitting over there just laughing and just this is nothing and all of that, and I'm just like, what do we ever see this guy's face? I felt so bad. Mickey or Monkey? Monique?
We're having a little Ambler moment right now.
Yeah, and Monique is the new Ambler. I would maybe Ambler is like underneath the Monique. Mask.
I like Monique. I like the way Monique was talking. Yeah, well, I didn't like the way he was talking about his mom committed suicide, but I mean that he opened up and he was like, "This doesn't hurt," because I've been in real mental, physical pain, and pain really is mental.
Yep,
I'm telling you, pain really is mental.
There is some pain. That's not. If you were being burned alive, that's legitimate pain.
You're sticking me with one of those needles. That ain't mental pain. That is Allison squealing. Go get it out.
But there is pain. But like I have done that. How many times? I don't know if anybody else has ever done this. But if I for example, I just really whacked my knee on this desk. And inside, whenever I do something like that, which I know, it's not like I cracked my kneecap or anything like that. I just have to go, what is pain? What is pain? What is pain? What is pain? And I have that as a mantra, and then it just goes away. And I feel fine now. It doesn't even hurt.
Well, I mean, we saw one of the people in the getting hit by the paintballs. They're like, "Oh yeah, hit me with those paintballs."
Jesus! What the holy paintball hell? There is never an incident where getting hit with a paintball at close range without armor on feels like, oh yeah. Like it doesn't. Have you ever played paintball?
No. Yep. And I don't want to.
I've been hit in the head with a paintball with a helmet on. I thought I was going to die.
Well, that's like when that one person hit the other person in the face. And I mean, she's got a fat lip, baby, after that. But that's the thing, so these extermination challenges are not just meant to be like, can you survive them?
Yeah.
It's about are you either overcoming something or are you showing them there's nothing you can't throw at me that wouldn't make me want to be in this competition. There are other challenges, other seasons, all that kind of stuff where there are people who just plain out quit and go, nope, I'm not doing this. There are people who give up. There are people who crumble under the pressure. And even if they complete a challenge, there are people who were whining and complaining about it the entire time. And guess
Can you give us an example from another season where somebody has said, no, I'm not doing that, and I quit?
Absolutely. So episode 1 of season 3, it happens. And basically what they do for episodes, do you guys want to know what happens?
Yeah. Okay. I want to know what's the line that somebody's not willing to cross on this show that this show does.
So on episode 1, season 3, the bottom 2 queens put up for extermination have to go skydiving.
What's wrong with that? So
they're afraid of heights. They don't want to go. They get on the plane and then they get off the plane. They go, no, I'm not doing it. And so the one queen has to go themselves and they jump off and they complete it. And they say, oh my God, it was exhilarating. The other queen goes home. They quit.
There's people walking behind you in the window.
Yeah, my parents are just getting home.
Okay, I'm just you know what I mean?
Oh my God, it's
Megan is missing. Megan is missing.
Oh, actually, that's my brother.
Another production note I had was in this is a direct comparison to RuPaul's Drag Race that we watched season 6. So I love how silent it is. There's no silly like American sound cues like to like heighten things like artificially. You know what I mean? Where like exactly. Like, can you believe they said that? Like it's so silent, and like the background is like all black. It's literally just like a spotlight. Like it feels like an interrogation room, and it just like 5 minutes into the first episode, we were like knee deep in like just like drama from all these queens like knowing each other.
Oh my god! One said
I loved
the
it.
C word. This cunt over there. I was like, what? I can invest. Look, Oliver and I were up in the little workout room watching it, and he was just as invested as I was. Now, I don't know if it was the freakish shit that was going on the TV screen that he couldn't take his eyes off
Oliver is.
but we were invested. When I like that they bitch and argue. It seemed real. They weren't doing it for show. I like that we don't see them out of makeup because I don't, watching this show, be honest with you, I don't want to know them on that level.
Yeah.
I want to know them like this.
That's the point. They know that they're making this show because they want to show this artistry and they want to show how intense and punk and alternative and underground and whatever they can be. And with that, you're still going to get moments like we have with Monique saying, I've been through the worst pain there has been. And, you know, you're still going to get those moments of realness. You're still going to get queens that are fighting over each other, over let it be petty shit or whatever, or real things, but that doesn't take away from their artistry. It doesn't take away from the drama of what they're presenting in addition to like who they are. So I'm totally with you. And I think the producers were smart to say, there's gonna be very few moments where you see them out of drag. And for the most part, if they're out of drag, they're like in half drag, like they're in half makeup, you know?
Let me ask you a question. So the three of us are in the bottom.
Okay.
And we're strapped to the chair. And they're about to start sticking us with needles. How far do you think you would make it with that?
I think, knowing me, because I get stuck with needles all the time because of Crohn's and endometriosis and all these different things, I think I could do the small needles okay. But I also know that if I'm getting blood drawn, I actually have a bruise because I got blood drawn this past weekend.
I remember the huge bruise you had from the vaccine.
Yep.
Look at my vaccine stuff going on
there
right now.
There you go. Yeah. I get, I forgot what it's called, like vasophasal or something like that. That's not even the word, but it's something like that. I have a reaction quite often when I get blood drawn, where if I don't have my head up against like a wall or the back of a chair, and if I haven't had enough water or anything, I faint. Like I can't help it. And it's not because I'm afraid of blood. Like I can look at it and be fine. It's the sensation does something to my brain. And I will say that not in this season, but in another season, there's queens that have those reactions and they push themselves to the max and they get to that point and then it's just like their body's just like, now you're gonna faint. And that's not held against them because it's not your fault that your body has that reaction. It's like you've brought yourself to that point. You didn't chicken out over it and that kind of thing.
I'm just kinda, like,
but
curious.
I think I'd get a few. I don't know how I would do with the big ones, to be perfectly honest.
I'll tell you, I would not do well.
We know, Tyler.
You
I could
have had a child, like you have gone through labor. Beth gets pricked with needles all the time. I would see that and I would say, peace out, goodbye. I'm not doing this. No way. Although I guess like I have gotten tattoos, so like that's like the closest thing I can kind of like compare that to, but still like I think you two would beat me out in that.
You're not putting what was that called? The long needle thing.
They're needles. I would say that they just have a smaller gauge to them.
Okay, you're not putting anything like that in me. Like I can't.
Gauges when they're smaller in number are bigger, right? That's how it is. Yeah. Okay.
This is how I am with stuff like that. In case anyone ever, decides to kidnap me and put me in a barrel, I have to watch the needle go in my body. When they take blood from me, I have 2 veins, one in this arm and one vein in this arm that are the favorites that you will always get blood out of.
Yep.
I have to watch that needle go in,
And go, nope, that's the wrong one.
yeah. And I'm like, and they always say breathe, Allison, breathe, Allison. But I'm like, I have to watch it go in, come out, everything. So I know that if they were going to start sticking me like that, if I can't see it, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like even with the big gauge, I think I could take one, but I would have to watch it go in. Like as long as I can see it, I'm okay.
And I also think that with those situations too, the breathing thing is important.
Yeah.
But I also think that, like, I don't know. This is for all those people who have to have pap smears and such out there. I'm just putting this out there.
We got God bless them pap smears.
So my problem has always been, first of all, because of endometriosis, a speculum feels like a knife is cutting me from the
God
inside.
damn, I hate those things.
So they're
Horrible.
awful. But I can't tell you how many times I've had to have someone say, you need to relax like your butt, or you need to like just kind of like, you need to take a deep breath and relax. And the moment that I relax, there's not as much pain. I think the same thing goes for like needles and such, where if like actually people like in car accidents, if they tighten up, are actually more hurt because their body is so tense and rigid. That's why so many drunk drivers tend to survive car crashes, is because their body's reaction to tightening up is much longer, because they have a delayed reaction and their body is looser. And so I actually think that there's something to be said that if you can center yourself and breathe in, breathe out, and like while they're putting a needle in, it probably wouldn't hurt as much as if you were tight and tense and, oh my God, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. So that's why when you see Monique being like, whatever, you can actually see that Monique's body is quite relaxed. You can see Erica Clash kind of tighten up and go, oh, okay, and then loosen up. And as soon as she loosens up, all of a sudden she's getting more and more. She might go, okay. You know, Felony, who ends up going home in the first one, is tight the entire time. Like you can see that physically with her. She never lets up. And I think that that's why Felony ends up going home.
Yeah, it's hard for me to be really loose when someone's about to stab me, but I do.
You're so weird, Allison.
I'm so weird. I'm the white basic bitch of the group. I loved it in this episode when who did they call basic? You look like a basic PTA mom. Who was it?
I think they said it to James Mansfield, or not Mansfield. Oh my God, that's from
I love
James Majesty.
I was like. I was like, I kind of like her look a little bit. And they're like, you're the white basic bitch of the group. And I'm like, well, that makes sense why I like it.
Let's talk a little bit about the queens themselves. Okay. So like you said, we start off.
Pictures or anything or no?
I tried looking, but there's no like good wiki for this. Like there is RuPaul's Drag Race. There is, but like there's no like pictures of like the individual looks.
Oh, well, not the looks, but as much as like who the queens are and that kind of thing, I can see.
I'll look while you're talking about it.
So let's talk about the queens themselves. We enter, like I said, it's almost like you feel like, was there supposed to be an episode before this? Because they immediately come out, you know, guns a-blazing and just shitting on each other. And a lot of this, again, is like there's so many queens who know each other that they're in such small circles and there are various different like markets.
You know what it's like? It's like us podcasters.
Yeah.
God, I hate their fucking shit.
I don't like that person.
Sucks.
I had to work with this person on a podcast about Survivor. It was awesome.
Fucking production value look like Sequester season 1.
Honestly, these eliminations did remind me of Sequester. I had that in my notes.
Sorry, it did. It was like, oh my God, this is like
how they're filmed, you know?
It's so true. It's
sorry,
so
I'm
true.
still looking.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So were you able to follow along with some of the drama that was there? Because we had a couple different storylines happening, especially in episode 1.
There was
go ahead, Allison.
The basic bitch. Who's that?
James Majesty.
James Majesty and somebody else have major history.
Monique.
Yeah, and they were going back and forth.
Yep, she's a trigger happy alcoholic who needs to pop a Xanax every few minutes.
But that's okay because her Xanax is prescribed. That's what she said. That's not what I'm saying.
Yep. Isn't that great?
Is this the one who flicked her on the dick on stage and made out with her, causing tension
that's
in the
the
relationship?
other one, which is between Bitch Pudding and Abhora.
That story bothered me. Can I be honest?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
That story bothered me. Like, you flicked my dick and then you did all this stuff to me on stage and I was uncovered. Like, that kind of bothered me.
Yeah.
Like,
in what way?
I don't know. Just kind of touching someone's privates and then kissing them without permit. Like, everything about that is not right. I don't care if it's part of the show or anything. If someone's uncomfortable, you need to stop immediately. It's okay. That's my PTA mom moment. Okay?
No, I think what you say is absolutely correct. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts as the season goes along, because as we saw, first of all, episode 2, Monique and James make up before the challenge, quote unquote. But Monique goes, James gave me one of her, world famous fake apologies and whatever, and so I'm not going to believe it. And then Monique goes home, so like, who gives a shit, so that kind of comes to an end. But conversely, we see everybody kind of sides with Abhora, because I think that they feel very similarly as you do. But you see Abhora saying a few things over and over and over and over, and Bitch saying, well, there's more to the story about this, and I respect you. I think you're an amazing person, blah, 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 blah. And there's still some friction there, and they all dump on her. And then when it's in the judging portion, when they're outside, Bitch says, I'm letting these bitches get to me. And this will go places. And so this is why I'm interested to see, like, as we continue with the series, I can't wait to keep your tabs, because I'm totally with you. I'm very much of the same, like, I don't care if it's for a performance or not. If people don't want to be touched, they shouldn't be touched. If you don't have their, express consent to do so, you shouldn't be making out with them. If they have a boyfriend and all that kind of stuff and they're in the audience, like, that's even worse. Like, there's things there. But I think that you're going to find that there's more to the story as we move forward.
And their only argument back was, why are you bringing this up now when, like, we could have talked about this off air, like, way before this show. And that's basically saying, like, yeah, I admit to doing it. Like, that's not even like apologizing or anything. You know what I mean?
Does fully admit it in these first couple episodes. Yeah, I did that. And in the first episode, Bitch says, and I apologized, and we talked about this. In the second episode, said, why are you bringing this all up now? It's because we're in front of cameras, even though we buried the hatch.
I just love hearing Beth repeatedly call someone bitch over.
That's her name, Bitch Pudding.
I just love it. And we got to watch what we show now. We're going to get taken down.
The first 2.
This isn't a video. These are just GIFs, so I think we're okay.
Yeah, so just don't scroll any farther down. But so this is in the first episode, this is Abhora. This is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Abhora.
I figured, like, we could do, like, combined, like, episode 1 and 2, because I just, like, pick, like, the same tab or whatever. But Abhora looked so good in the second one. Like, she absolutely killed it.
She's absolutely my favorite of episode 2. I loved what the winner does, Victoria Elizabeth Black does in this episode. But in my opinion, Abhora had the most unique, amazing thing, brought her drag to it. And I think that, in my opinion, I think Abhora should have won.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like, it's unique. It doesn't look like another horror.
But you also know the reference immediately. Like, it's like these old-timey Western cartoon baddie kind of people,
I will say her in episode 1, I loved what she did, but to me it was not Hellraiser, Clive Barker, Cenobite. It just didn't. But I got she had the baby in her ass and on.
And remember that they're not supposed to be Hellraiser. And that
I know, but the Cenobites are from Hellraiser. I guess that's what I'm saying. But they're just
and the way that you have to kind of think of it in the way that they framed it, which is, how would your drag character come back after living their life a certain way as a Cenobite? And so you're like, okay. And so I agree with you very much, Allison, which is, this is not the traditional Cenobite way, but this has a clear concept of, like,
this is also, but let me point out, I've seen all the freaking Hellraiser movies. Let me tell you something. You are only a Cenobite because you're a piece of shit. You're not a Cenobite because you're fabulous like we are. You have got to have a problem.
And that's exactly their thing, right? So your drag character is a piece of shit. How are they a piece of shit?
Yeah.
And how does that translate into how they come back?
Right.
So in Abhorra's case, it's like her drag character is like every orifice that could be sexualized. Right.
I need to film
Yeah.
my cat watching this show.
Please
because
do.
Oliver saw the baby in the butt at the same time I did, and he even kind of went because he watches all the weird shit with me. All the other cats don't care, but he is front and center with me when something weird is on. I promise you. Okay, here's. Can I say this one?
Yep.
Bitch pudding.
Yeah, bitch pudding.
Or is it biatch?
So I have a question about the origin of the name Bitch Pudding, because there was an old sketch on Robot Chicken on Cartoon Network where they had this she was like a strawberry shortcake but like inappropriate version of her, and her name was Bitch Pudding, and everybody was just like annoyed, like, oh, here comes Bitch Pudding. So I like, is that where this name comes from, or?
I actually don't know. I wouldn't be shocked. Bitch is actually a really big video game Cartoon Network kind of fan, so that wouldn't shock me. I met Bitch Puddin at DragCon in 2018. She did a panel about gaming as like gay men who are involved in gaming with my friend Dylan Zahner from Hot Mess Moments. So Dylan moderated it, and she was on the show, which was kind of fun. Bitch is also on Twitch and does a lot of Twitch streaming. And so I wouldn't be shocked. Bitch is pretty open. This is why I was saying, like, it might be kind of cool if for a patron show we can get someone like Bitch or Yovska, who's in season 3, who's on my stream team and streamed yesterday for the Pokemon.
That would be so cool.
To come on the show and kind of chat a little bit. But yeah, they're both like really incredible artists. But Bitch is the one that had the beef with Abhorra that we just saw. And it wasn't that her look was bad in the first episode. It was just like, they were like, okay, but where's your outfit? Like, if you're going to do like an outfit, this is pretty basic. So give us more. She was the one that was in the bottom that was like, you don't deserve to be in the bottom, but everybody else brought it harder that was in the top. So blah. That's like why she was there.
I mean, your like premiere look should be like a really lasting first impression, and this is just kind of like meh. And I think that kind of motivated her to be like really, really good in the second one. Like, she really owns her moment, like right there where she's like on the ground and like being like a zombie and stuff like that. But
I have to move to a more comfortable seat because this is killing me. So I'm going across the. No,
I don't know. They kind of look the same.
This is where I kind of disagreed with the judges on episode 1. I thought that she did kind of fit the Cenobite theme to an extent. Mm-hmm. Because there was someone in the original Hellraiser who was skinned, had no skin, just walked around without skin. And it was veins and the muscle and everything pulsating. And, I just thought it kind of fit. It's just a little too, for me, a little too horror film, just not just camp, there is that part that's.
Meanwhile, I'm fucking dying with all these cords.
Yeah, I don't know.
She looks like a background person for The Walking Dead instead of
like
a character.
Could have done. Sorry, I got a piece of cat hair that's like tickling me. I'm sorry, lint brushing myself on the fucking show.
Yeah, and I think that's the point, right? Is that they told her, like, you fulfill the requirements, you just didn't do it as well as other people, which is why you're in the bottom. They didn't have any bad criticism for her. They just felt like she didn't look as much as like a superstar as like the other people who were in the top.
She looked like she walked out of the movie Army of the Dead that I just watched with the zombie tiger on Netflix over the weekend.
All right. So next we have...
And she's the one that used the same latex for the first two.
That's right.
So here is Dolly. So Dolly, as a Cenobite, she's kind of like a sex pig. That's how she thinks of herself. And so she'd come back literally as a sex pig. And then the second one did like kind of like a shaman kind of look.
I like these looks. The pig always is going to remind me of Saw, the franchise. So like that's immediately
Amanda.
where like I went to. And the shaman, it's almost like a crow type of thing. But I like it. I don't know.
I didn't like the pig is just yellow. I just didn't. I didn't dig it at
The
all.
yellow teeth.
I didn't. I couldn't even get into the second one either. Like
See-
it reminded me of the freaking Lone Ranger. Okay, like I feel like that horrible movie they made with Johnny Depp and that other actor, and Johnny Depp played the Indian. Who's the Indian?
I didn't
It's
see
not
the
Edward
Lone Ranger,
Scissorhands, is it?
Johnny Depp is Edward Scissorhands. Tonto is the Indian from the Lone Ranger. He
Okay.
is the Lone Ranger's partner. And I felt like this was like a demonic Tonto.
I think so.
Just didn't like it. I don't know.
I feel like Dolly is so incredible at painting. And I think you see it in like the way there's just like this silent confidence, and there's also like a weird beauty in her horror that kind of invites you in, but also just doesn't, for me at least, push you over the edge like some other, like I don't have like an audible like oh my god like I do with other queens, either oh my god in a good or a bad way. Like
she did the assignment, but not like A+.
Right. I actually so Matthew said I think Victoria took the space that Bitch was trying to go for, in like when he was talking about the Cenobite look. I actually think that Dolly's the weakest of the top ones, and that could have been in the bottom, and Bitch could have been in the top. Like I feel like they're the ones that could have been the most interchangeable. The judges really liked her though. I think that Dolly's second look, to me, is a concept. It's great. It just doesn't bring it as hard as other people, but I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
All right, the next one.
Oh.
Disasterina. So we also learned that Disasterina is married to a woman. And
yeah. So what is okay?
That is interesting.
I just want to point out, Henning, we've been waiting for this moment. So
I can't because, and this is why, because when I'm watching I can't even look at it because she goes down and touches her bloody period crotch and then licks it. And I'm just like, why am I watching this? What is happening? Like, why? Like, why does it that is not like, I just can't. What? Like the look on Tyler's face. Like the look at it, like what the fuck is happening?
And
like,
don't forget.
There it goes. It just happened. It just happened.
And don't forget, Disasterina's look was highly praised, but this like performance that she does is like, girl, like you are
gives me faceria.
not
So
good at the
I like the first look, but the second one is I left the poop knife in the laundry room. I need to go get it.
She's like, the creator. This is the origin story of the poop knife.
Yes.
This is episode 2. Episode 1 is when you don't use the poop knife, right?
I'm going to say something that a lot of people disagree with. I'm not a big fan of Disasterina.
Thank you. Me neither. Hey, look. Same boat.
A lot of people love Disasterina, especially in the confessionals. I find her kind of annoying, but I appreciate her art and that kind of thing. She's not someone that I necessarily click with watching.
His period blood art.
It's not period blood as much as it is like the hair is being weaved in and out, and so the hair comes out like the pubic area. That's what the blood is from.
Hair. Like I can't even handle hair. Like I have a traumatic experience with hair. And now I got this going on. And I'm just like, again, with my cat Oliver, I know, bud. I know.
Tyler, what do you think about Disaster Arena?
I just like if you're gonna I just feel like the second look she's just like not owning it at all. Like at least in the first one, like she's like really like owning her shit and like being in character. I just feel like she's not in character for the second one. Like she just looks like confused or like the sun's too bright. It's like burning my eyes type of thing. So I don't know. I need to see more before I form an impression because it's kind of a mixed bag for me so far.
Totally.
But I do have an impression of the next queen, which is Erica Clash. I feel like I feel like she has like the winner's edit already. Like she's like shown to be like, oh, I'm being nice and treating this person that's getting ganged up on like a human instead of like a punching bag. And I think her style of like video game like Japanese like culture. Maybe not Japanese. Sorry if that's like offensive. Like Asian culture.
There's
Sorry.
a lot of Japanese and Korean culture in.
Okay.
Her
I want to make sure I'm not like mispronouncing myself or whatever. But I just think it's a more like creative like techno-y version of her that I feel like it's something way different than the rest of the queens, and I'm excited to see where she goes. And I feel like the judges are being really harsh on her. And I hope that that's because like they're trying to like build her up to like be this like really excellent like winner at the end type of thing. But like I don't know, I just think she has like a lot of like creativity and like use of color that I don't see in the other drag queens.
Erica,
she's my favorite.
Yeah, Erica, I've met twice. Once was a month before DragCon in 2018. She was also on the same panel that Dylan moderated with Bitch Pudding. And she is very lovely, just like such a great queen, but also like so artistic with how she paints, but very, very different. Allison's face tells me she does not agree. So, Allison, you go into it, girl.
I just don't think this is the right show for her. I get what she's doing, and I think she's very talented, but I'm not. Okay, I'm one of these geeks that goes to Comic-Cons, okay? And I'm telling you, these are the girls that walk around with the hair and the club kid boots that are apparently you're not supposed to wear. But I mean, it's just not, to me, it just doesn't fit. I think she's gorgeous. And I love it. I love everything about it. Okay. But I feel like there's another show for her. And I mean, they even said it themselves. She basically used a Sharpie on a bodysuit. Yeah. I mean, I fucking hate these wigs. Okay. Enough already. Like I cannot stand it. When I see these young women and men walking around in these freaking blunt bangs, pigtails, multicolored freaking wigs, I'm done. I'm freaking 44. I'm a grandma. I sound like a grandma. Children, please stop. Like I can't deal with it anymore. Like,
I have to point out this comment from Adrian Celeste. He says, first Tashawn, Dolly, Disaster Arena, now Erica. Allison has a problem with somebody. No hate, but girl, what have they done to you?
Listen, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, I'm at a point in my life where my filter is dirty and I don't want to clean it anymore. And I don't care. This
is the show for you then.
That's why I created it. Here's the thing. This is a beautiful woman and I think she's very talented. I'm not into the whole, personally, I'm not into it. I don't care.
I think that what you are expressing is not too dissimilar than how the judges feel, which was she put together an application and did really well with presenting how her style of drag could be translated, but she's not quite bringing it while in the competition. It's not that she doesn't have a good style of drag or anything like that. What the Boulay brothers started saying in season 3 is something I wish they had said the first 2 seasons, but before they do any judgment, when it comes to the judgment portion of the show, in season 3, they say, we are not here to judge your drag. Drag is art and art is subjective. Mm-hmm. We are here to judge how your drag applies to the challenges in the competition at hand. So I think that disclaimer, first of all, is better than anything RuPaul has ever said or done on Drag Race, because it explains that we're not here to tell you how you should be doing your drag. What we're here to do is to say, you tried to bring your drag and apply it to the competition and what we asked for and these standards and this assignment and this whatever, this rubric. This is how we feel you completed or you didn't. We think it's completely punk rock if you say, fuck you guys, I like what I did and whatever. But remember, at the end of the day, they're judges. It's a subjective show, right? I don't think the way that you feel, Allison, is off at all. I think that a lot of people completely agree. I have always found her second look to be incredibly weak. It just looks like a Halloween costume that anybody could have put together. I don't even find her paint to be that incredible. But I do think that the first look was 70% of the way there. There was 30% more work that could have been done just to elevate it. Whether it was, like they said, when you took the wig off, it could have, like, it's just a bald cap. Like, give us something more horror underneath. Like, is there a brain? Is there something like that, right? The Sharpie on the thing doesn't really bother me, but maybe if she had brought those elements to other things. Her performance itself is fine. That's great. Like, whatever. It's like she has the opposite problem that Disasterina has. Disasterina brings the looks, but can't perform to save her life. Erica can perform, but can't bring the looks to the level that the performance serves, you know? So I think that this is, Matthew says it perfectly here. I think these first two episodes are good for trimming the fat of, you know, so we say goodbye to Felony, who didn't have like any lines or any words that we really saw at all. She had nothing to do with any of the drama.
Loved her name though.
Felony Dodger. And then we say goodbye to Monique, who was just going to wear the same mask every week and say that she looks great.
But can I say, I did like how Monique said, I'm wearing the mask every time.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what I was just saying. Like that kind of punk rock that's like, fuck you, I'm doing what I want.
Yeah, and not to throw shade, as the kids say, I feel like RuPaul and them kind of are a little rude and stuck up and a little snobby and could really use some etiquette classes. And that's coming from me, of all people.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be an asshole. I mean, it's your show and you want drag done a certain way. But just because someone's into the club kid thing and that's not what you want on your show, or you don't bring someone on the show to change them into what you want.
Correct.
Let them be who they are and guide them to evolve and enhance what is already amazing.
Yeah.
Don't change somebody. What are you clawing on over there? Okay. Anyway, but that was just what, you know, I think Erica's beautiful and what she did was great. I just kind of felt like this was not maybe the show, but I could be wrong. She's not gone. She could surprise me.
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon says Allison's spilling facts.
And what?
For James Majesty, I like.
We're gonna skip over Felony.
Oh well, she was the first boot, so we can talk about her though.
If you want to talk about, this look everybody really shat on, because she basically just looks like she's from Hellraiser. Like they didn't think it was original. Yeah. It also didn't look like it was completed. Yeah. She's the one that ends up going home. Any thoughts on that?
She did look a little too imitaty for me. Yeah. It was too pinheadish and everything, and it did show the pain part, with her back and everything, because the whole point of being a Cenobite is you are in eternal hell, in eternal pain. You've got it's just, I'm telling you, I mean, I could show y'all some pictures from them and y'all be like, okay, I get what you're saying. I mean, I get where Felony was going, but like the judges said, maybe in the front, and it should have been more, but it felt more like an imitation than something original to me.
And that, like, neck up, she looked great, but again, it was more imitating than anything. Right. I like what Matthew says here in the chat. Also, Felony said in post-show interviews that her drag transformed. The Boulets took her in and helped her with her drag. And I think that this is a key point here. The Boulets are known to be incredible mentors during and after the show, they care very deeply about like helping those that have been on the show that have proven that they want to continue to grow and continue to be good mentors. Whereas RuPaul can't even remember like 99% of the girls who have ever been on the show, and has never been on a tour, has never done anything like that. Michelle Visage knows the girls very, very well, but doesn't know, like RuPaul doesn't know like any of them.
And like one thing that, and look, I like RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm not dogging it at all, but I kind of feel like there's too many campy sex jokes about anatomy and sex and blowjobs or getting on your doing this or that or whatever. And I'm like, okay, we get it, fine, whatever. It's kind of like I used to love the show 2.5 Men when it very first started, and then it just really went sideways, and I found myself being personally offended by some. I'm just like, it's enough. Enough, totally. You know. But anyway, that's what I like about this show is it's more. I feel more connected with this after just 2 episodes than I did with RuPaul's Drag Race. That's just
interesting. Huh. Yeah, I mean, so my only note for Felony is like it's good to know that like they will punish like just flat out imitation. Like they're really encouraging originality and kind of like your own spin on the genre of horror. So
totally.
So James Majesty, I liked this first look a lot. Speaking of original, like it's very like twisty, wiry, like barbed wire fence wrapped up and like killing a person type of thing. The second look, not so much. It looks very plain. It looks very, like you said, like a Halloween costume for Erica. I feel the same way about James here in the second look.
I love that outfit. Wins the first challenge.
I can see why. Yeah.
And the second challenge, what?
Man, what a night and day difference. I mean, I'm sorry, but that is a night and day. Like that was totally Cenobite in episode 1, and then this ghost town with the. I was like, okay,
yeah.
Matt says James is like, I won episode 1, so I'll coast in episode 2 and almost get sent home. Yeah,
now Floater's here, honey.
Yeah.
Not much to say here. She's the one that, I mean, James is, there's a lot about James that happens in other episodes and such, but she's, she's obviously a strong queen from what you can see from the first episode. It's just did not fulfill any kind of requirement for the second episode.
So Kendra Onyx. Sorry. So I feel like Kendra is like our narrator of the season. Like we always see her in confessional, like explaining what's going on. And I like her personality a lot. So I actually had it in my notes that like she's one of my favorites moving forward, except for the whole colored contacts thing. I hate that so much. I don't know why that's like such a thing for me, but I don't know. I love the boils on her in the second.
No, see, that really bothered me. Like I can't, like I'm trying to cover up the bottom part because I don't want to see it. Like, so
like, bothered you in the sense that it like grossed you out, or bothered you because you had an issue with it?
I love zits. I watch Dr. Pimple Popper.
I love Dr. Pimple Popper.
I am all about popthatzit.com. Listen, I will tell you something. Where I used to work, there was a woman that had to have a boil lanced on her inner thigh, and me and the other coworker were obsessed with Dr. Pimple Popper. Guess what? Before she went to the doctor, we told her everything that the doctor was going to tell her to do and everything she would need for aftercare. Guess what? She could have just skipped the doctor because me and Barbara could have lanced that shit and taken care of it and cleaned it, and she would have been fine. I'm telling you, come to me, come to Gigi. You got a pimple, zit, cyst, anything, I'll take care of it. 100. Yeah. But anyway, no, just when it looks like that, and it's like looks like it's pulsating at me, and spiders could be coming out of it,
and rats are eating it.
There is a movie with Martin
mice, whatever.
Sheen in it, and I think it's called The Serpent or something from the 80s. And this woman has this cyst on her cheek, and it's like, what is it? And she's looking at it, and she's like, well, I don't want to bother if it's festers a zit. And it is about devil worshippers, and they did a spell on her. And she goes in the mirror, and she goes to pop that shit, and 1,000,000 baby spiders come out of it.
Ay.
Ugh.
No,
That's
thank you.
nice.
What do you think, Beth?
I always like Kendra. I think Kendra, first of all, I think the other thing that's just like really funny to remember about Kendra is Kendra's a veteran, and what I love is that I can't remember who she faces in the James. She faces James in the paintball competition. You do not want to face the person who actually is trained in shooting a gun really well.
Yeah,
Like-
in the military, right?
Yeah, in the military, she's a vet.
And then
Wasn't
you
she
shoot
the
her-
one that got whacked in the face with the
Yeah,
with
she
the
shut
bullet?
the mouth. And then you shoot her with someone who's trained with this
James
kind of
got hit
artillery.
in the mouth, and she got
Okay.
hit in the ankle and had like an open
Got it.
wound from it. But
You shoot
I
me
think
in the
Kendra's
face with a
badass.
paintball, you better run.
I think Kendra's badass. I love her attitude and such. I just think that both of her looks were kind of basic in terms of the costume.
Yeah.
But I do love like the boils. I love the rat. I love I get kind of sick on this show of everybody just having shit come out of their mouths, like blood, like fake blood or whatever. But
I see.
I actually thought it was more effective to have like this green, it's like pus coming out of her mouth. Like that was more interesting to me than just people going bleh with blood, like whatever. So I like Kendra.
I see.
So, but
Yeah,
don't have much
I think
else.
I like Kendra more for like her personality than her looks so far.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
hopefully she steps it up. Okay. Sorry, these like take a second to load for. Okay.
No
here we go.
worries. We have Monique Shame, who goes home in episode 2, and Monique wears masks. That is Monique's thing. And the reason why she's in the bottom in the first time is because while from the neck up she looked good, the rest of her, everyone's like, where the fuck is Cinnabite? It's just you're wearing a red leather outfit.
Yeah.
And my whole thing with her is I agree. I don't care if you wear the masks. Masks are creepy the way that you wear them and decorate them and stuff. But like in the second episode, you didn't even do anything to your mask. You contoured it slightly, but like at least do something with your masks.
Can I
If
ask
that's your thing.
That's a personal question about Monique Shame.
Yeah.
Is this person disfigured? Do they have something going on with their face? They just don't want their identity.
No,
Or
it's just this
it's
is
just the
their
thing.
aesthetic. This is their
Okay.
aesthetic kind of thing.
Okay.
Monique, as we know a little bit from the second episode or first episode, has a lot going on, and we'll get a better sense of that on like the reunion episode. Just putting that
we
out
get a
there.
reunion.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'll be fun. I feel like there's going to be so many arguments.
I will tell you this though, Monique is has some pretty troublesome things that she said right around the time the season was coming about that are borderline racist. She was especially against Asian Americans. So this is a person that has a lot of trauma, but also is not is also kind of a hateful person because of it.
Oh, so that like
a Monique fan.
Okay, so that makes me like cringe like even more about like, so I don't know why, but like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre with like the Leatherface, that is like the only scary movie that like genuinely like scares me. And so anytime I see the Leatherface, like it really makes me like super scared for whatever. I don't know what it is. I can watch any other horror movie, something like so much more gory, but like something about that movie was just so like real and raw, if that makes any sense. So to see that like featured here is just like it makes my like skin crawl.
This Monique's shame kind of reminded me a little bit of if Leatherface and Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs merged into one person. It would be this guy because the Leatherface, the dressing in women's clothes and dancing around and the not. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Silence of the Lambs and all that stuff, but
My sister loves that movie.
I've read the. She read the book. You need to read.
No.
You have to read the book.
I'm not going to.
Okay, I'm just saying. Buffalo Bill made a suit. There's actually a documentary on Discovery Plus. The guy's name is George Gines, I think. It is the movie that I think they actually based Psycho off of, but actually pulled some of Buffalo Bill from, because he made a suit to wear out of, he would get women, starve them down to where their skin was loose enough, skin them and sew it together, and he made a skin suit. Okay. And they show him wearing it in the movie. But anyway, like, I feel like this would be Buffalo Bill and Leatherface together.
Yeah, I'm sure that this is where Monique got some of his inspiration from. And Adrian does bring up the good point here. At least Monique got a foot rub from Victoria out of the season.
No,
so
who doesn't want a foot rub for an hour?
My favorite part is that they gets the foot rub after they do the floor show for the first episode. So Victoria, which we were about to talk about, who does this amazing special effects work, is fully like in this like blood face, just like giving a fucking foot massage. It's so funny to me.
I'm glad Monique gets eliminated in episode 2, because I like, for whatever reason, I like literally cannot stomach looking at Leatherface. So
it gets on my nerves when people brag about how much pain doesn't bother them. And I know that might be the case, but sometimes it just comes off cocky, like, oh, that doesn't hurt. I could do this all day. Oh, put another one. I worked with this guy at Wolf Camera who was like that. And he was super weird. When he would get frustrated at work, he would just start speaking in Klingon. I mean, it's just weird. Just fuckers like that. I just I don't get it. And I'm not knocking anyone. I am one of the weirdest people you'll ever meet out. Trust me. But I'm just saying, it's just, it's for show. I felt like it's for show. Like you're showing off. And I don't believe it, that does not fucking hurt you. Okay. And I get, because we discussed it earlier, he has had real anguish in his life and it is mental. But still, at the same time, I'm thinking a lot of it's talk.
Yeah. I agree.
I feel like I need to like speak to a therapist about like why Leatherface like specifically makes me so like I feel like physically ill right now watching these gifs. So
yeah, let's move on. Next,
Victoria Elizabeth Black. So a lot of people felt like Victoria should have won the first episode with this look, this with the special effects and makeup and the costuming, and then she does end up winning the second episode. With this fortune teller look where she like sets the booth on fire and looks like she's kind of like burnt in the sense, not burnt in terms of like her skin is burnt, but like burnt as in like she's like almost like an inanimate object that has been burnt.
Yeah.
And so she obviously can perform and do incredible makeup.
Man, that episode with that Cenobite outfit, man, was dead on. I loved it. I mean, that man, that was good. That was really good.
That to me is terrifying. Her face is terrifying to me. The idea of like the way that you're talking about Leatherface and all that kind of stuff, even though that really does creep me out too. For me, the idea of flayed skin is the worst thing in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's essentially what we have here.
Yeah, so I feel like for both of these looks, she really creates like a set for herself and like makes like a whole like story and theme. Like the first one is very like circus themed, like that's like the vibe I get. And then the second, of course, is like a fortune teller, but like she's like instead of like leaning into like a horror like villain or whatever, she's like thinking about the theme first, and then how can I make that twisted? How can I make that like horror filled? You know, I would never think to like have like a fortune teller booth be on fire and like the victim like burning of ashes like be like horror. Like that is very original to me. That is very unique to me. Same for this like the circus like pulling off the face and like here it is, it's on display like for show. Like it's very performative to me. I feel like it's like the performance is what Erica is trying to go for, but I feel like Victoria is just like on like another level, performance wise and execution wise of the outfit, the look, the outfit, and everything like that. So very good.
Totally.
I really like Victoria
for sure.
And Matthew does bring out the Boulets do bring up a good point though with her, which is like we see everything that you do, but we don't know if we see you. Like who are you in this? We see a lot of amazing special effects work, but like for example, we can see who Abhora is in Habora's like Abora's aesthetic, right? We have like the little beak thing, and you know, there's
what is the deal with that crap? This is in every drag show. There's got to be someone with a weird nose or a beak. I mean, why?
But that's just that's Abhorra's aesthetic. This idea, and like birds freak me the fuck out, so I get it when it comes to like creepy stuff. But so who do you think is gonna go home next? Now that you know like who were in episode 3 and 4, who do you think are the next 2 queens to go?
Who's the chick I don't like that wears the pink wigs?
Erica Clash.
Erica?
I think she might be going soon.
Okay.
So I think so too. That was my first thought is like, now that we're like talking this out, maybe this isn't the competition for her, which makes me sad because like I think it's like a very different take than everybody else, and I would love to see that like succeed. But I get what you guys are saying. So, and she's been in the bottom twice now, so yeah, definitely Erica.
Yeah, I'm not into it.
Alrighty.
All right.
Well,
so only Erica.
Ooh, God,
Erica is
I'm
going home in 2 episodes.
Look at Tyler's
yeah.
freaking out. I'm so happy that I know that Leatherface freaks you out because
I don't know what it is,
down.
but like we need to like talk about this more in the next BS breakdown. Like have like a little like therapy session for me, but like it's like tripping me out right now for some reason. I don't know, like I can't explain why or anything, but I think Erica's next to go, and I think Victoria is probably the winner if I am like guessing like just based on like these
like
first
an overall
episodes,
winner of the season.
Yeah, so that will be my like winner pick for like these first 2 episodes is Victoria.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Leatherface. There's a prequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre called Leatherface. And it was made maybe 10 years ago. And it actually tells the origin story of Leatherface. And it kind of shows you how he became who he did. And it really did not have that much to do with his family. I mean, his family's up, but I don't know. You'll never watch it, so it doesn't matter.
I'm good. So yeah, Beth, thank you for showing us this. I had no idea this was even a thing. I had no idea this was like a subgenre of drag, but like I am definitely intrigued. I watched the first episode high and it like boggled my mind. So like watch this show sober, I would say. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to see what's next. I feel I really have to applaud like the makeup job that these queens do. Like it's on like next level than anything we saw on RuPaul's Drag Race season 6 in terms of like the special effects that they do and stuff. So very impressive.
I absolutely agree. I think, in my opinion, not that obviously I love the drag queens from Drag Race. I'm not trying to diminish their drag or their artistry at all. I think the queens on Dragula just have a whole other level that they bring things to. And because the production is so low budget in comparison, the emphasis is really on them. And I think that only helps them out. So I'm happy that you guys enjoyed it. I can't wait for your impressions of episodes 3 and 4. Like I said, this is a really great season. And in terms of drama, and also in terms of just like the artistry. So I'm excited you guys liked it.
Yeah.
And
So
next-
if you guys liked us recapping this, join us on Patreon, patreon.com/myweeklymeltdown. That is where we will be recapping the rest of the season. So this is a little sneak peek, a little like spooky preview for what's to come. But if you're not joining us on Patreon, we'll be back next Thursday for another BS breakdown and no more poop knife stories. I promise you guys. I just wanted to,
we always end up talking about farting or shitting. It's just
That's true.
unavoidable.
it's pretty on brand for us, not gonna lie.
And next week, we're going to have a Patreon come on the show. Our guest will be Chris Dixon.
Yes.
Ba-bam. Anyway, he's going to be joining us all the way from Australia.
Lovely.
Lovely. And I told him that Beth and I are going to do our impressions and stuff. And it's just not so Australian at all.
No, you're
Definitely not.
definitely like a
He's
little
not
bit
an
of
Australian accent.
You're like a little. All right, mate, you're doing a little bit of a British accent there, but we're trying to do
That's better.
Australian.
That's
Australian
better.
here. We're gonna try to do that, yeah.
Gonna
oh,
try to
no.
do it.
You can't do it.
I can't
Yeah, I'm
do
very
it.
excited to talk to Chris.
Chris
He's one
would
of
be
our
great.
patrons. Very nice guy. But yeah, well,
Oh,
I need to like clear my mind.
Oh,
I'm
stop
just
it.
like stuck on.
My family's
but-
waiting to use this room, so I have to
Yes.
go.
Yeah. All right. Well, everybody have a great rest of your night. We'll see you guys next week. And take care. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.